Welcome to the only Stoic channel that will definitively open your eyes. Today, we will learn the points you need to know to charm any woman, basically their weak spots. But before we begin, you should know that you're in a channel for winners. We don't want losers here, only winners. And I'll make sure you become one of them. But every commitment has requirements, which means you should subscribe and activate notifications so you don't miss any mentorship and start to take control of your life. That being said, let's begin. We all have that one friend who appears to excel in attracting women effortlessly. Whenever we inquire about his secret, the response is consistently, "It's natural." However, what really sets him apart is his respectful demeanor. Respect is paramount, and among the traits women find irresistible in a man, being respectful takes precedence. Women appreciate when a man treats them with respect, seeking their opinions before making important decisions and refraining from coercing them into actions they aren't comfortable with. Unfortunately, many men disregard this principle, continuing to disrespect women without remorse. Consequently, these women view such men as monstrous and strive to distance themselves from them. If you want to attract women, it's essential to begin by treating those around you with respect. It's not a difficult feat. You can start by considering their opinions on various matters, from significant to trivial ones, and by listening to them without resorting to physical or verbal abuse. Playing with their emotions is also off limits. Moreover, it's crucial to demonstrate genuine respect to all women, not just those you're interested in. Being insincere is worse than being disrespectful, as women can detect falseness sooner or later. Therefore, it's essential to adopt a respectful attitude, abandoning any narcissistic tendencies. By doing so, you'll become the kind of man several women desire. Next up is aspiration, and you heard it right, women can scarcely resist men with great ambition. Buddy, what are your aspirations? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years career-wise? What are your financial objectives and short-term goals? If you have genuine responses to any or all of these inquiries, you're on the right track. However, if you find yourself unable to answer these questions, then we have a dilemma, my friend. No woman desires to be with a man who lacks ambition, who lacks goals, who is content with his current station in life, be it his job, education, or financial status. If you want to attract women, if you want them to flock to your side, then elevate your level of aspiration. We all strive to progress in life, to become better versions of ourselves than we were yesterday. Often, we require that extra push from friends, partners, or family. Women are no exception. A woman who aims to reach the pinnacle of her career or dreams of making it onto the Forbes list of successful individuals will always seek out men who can inspire her to pursue her aspirations and aim for greater things. Be that man for her by demonstrating that you have your own aspirations and life plans. Trust me, once women realize that you have direction and purpose, they'll begin to recognize the potential for greatness within you, and this could very well mark the start of their unwavering attraction to you. Now, onto the topic of humor. Men with a great sense of humor never fail to charm women. When I say a good sense of humor, I mean knowing the right things to say to brighten her mood and uplift her spirits when she's feeling down. If women aren't finding you irresistible, then perhaps you're lacking in humor. Work on it. Allow me to share a somewhat amusing anecdote from my high school days. I've always been known as the fun guy, as someone with the ability to transform sad faces into smiles. It's almost like a superpower. During my final days in high school, I found myself smitten with a brunette in my class named Joyce. Now, Joyce was stunning, always diligent in her studies, and never one to entertain advances from guys. I didn't want to be just another guy vying for her attention and failing, so I decided to approach things differently. I relied on humor. You see, the humor approach is a tactic I developed to connect with others in a light-hearted and enjoyable manner. I suppose I didn't exactly invent it, but I certainly applied it to win over women who typically reject advances. It's quite simple, you just need to make her feel at ease around you by lifting her spirits whenever you're together. That's precisely what I did. From sharing lighthearted jokes to offering amusing compliments to Joyce, I made her feel like she wanted more every time our conversations ended. Curious about the outcome? Well, Joyce had no choice but to agree to be my girlfriend. She even admitted that no other guy had made her feel as joyful as I did. If you want her to find you irresistible, then be the kind of guy who consistently brightens her day. However, proceed with caution. While women appreciate men with a good sense of humor, they don't appreciate constant jesting. Always cracking jokes without ever being serious could lead her to see you as unreliable, someone who doesn't take things seriously. As much as humor is valued, knowing when to be serious is even more crucial. Trust me, once you strike the right balance, you'll become irresistible to the women around you. I promise. Now, let's talk about intelligence. How intellectually adept are you? How often do you contribute meaningfully to discussions? How frequently do you offer solutions to your friends' problems? Your responses to these questions will determine whether your lack of irresistibility to women is your fault or not. For the record, women are drawn to intelligent men. They appreciate individuals who can engage them intellectually and add value to group conversations. If you tick all these boxes, that's perfect. However, if you don't, my advice is to work on building your intelligence and becoming a more active participant in discussions. Are you surprised by my previous statement? Well, don't be, as there are numerous methods to enhance your intellect. While it may seem daunting, it's not as difficult as it appears. At the top of the list is reading. Not only does reading enhance your intelligence, but it also improves your attention span, a valuable asset in a world plagued by short attention spans. So, indulge in a variety of materials, from articles to magazines to newspapers. However, don't limit yourself to your field of study. Explore both fiction and non-fiction books, as they are equally enriching for the mind. Consuming diverse literary works not only enhances intellectual levels but also fosters common ground among individuals. This ability to relate to others and perceive situations from different perspectives is invaluable. Making reading a habit will transform you into a well-rounded individual, which can certainly attract the attention of women, considering many of them are avid readers. Now, before I continue, let me dispel a common misconception. Intelligence is not synonymous with brilliance. Being brilliant doesn't necessarily equate to being intelligent. Just because your academic performance in high school wasn't stellar doesn't mean you lack intelligence. Similarly, being a straight-A student doesn't guarantee intelligence. Intelligence encompasses various facets beyond academic achievements. The highly intelligent, you've earned that reputation, and rightfully so. Never confine yourself or forego the chance to enrich your intellect based solely on grades or similar metrics. These are external, generalized indicators of intelligence that fail to encompass the diverse forms it can take. Remember, girls are often attracted to intelligent men, so embodying that quality will undoubtedly make you irresistible to them. Now, onto empathy, an aspect many men tend to overlook. If only they understood how appealing empathetic guys are to women, men who are attuned to their emotions. Buddy, if you want to be so irresistible to her that she'd do anything to earn your favor, then seize every opportunity to showcase your empathetic nature. Empathy involves not only understanding and sharing the feelings of others, but also being sensitive to their issues and offering non-judgmental solutions. Consider how you behave around her during challenging times, how you respond when she handles situations poorly, and what kind of advice you offer when she seeks support. Showing empathy is key to forging a deep connection and earning her admiration. If you're seeking some sound advice, your level of empathy will be evident in your responses to the questions above. Here's my experience demonstrating how empathy can turn you into a magnet for women. Many perceive me as a compassionate individual, and indeed I am. However, I never anticipated that women would be drawn to me for this trait. Allow me to recount an experience from the past. I had a friend named Mary who was enduring a challenging period in her relationship. Mary's boyfriend was, to put it bluntly, toxic. He was manipulative and unfaithful. He would engage in deceitful behavior and then manipulate Mary into feeling guilty about it. Before long, I became Mary's confidant. She would visit my apartment and pour her heart out about the deteriorating state of her relationship. In response, I offered her my unwavering support and provided counsel when she needed it most. Eventually, she decided to end the relationship and our bond grew stronger than ever. As a self-proclaimed bad boy, I took the opportunity to ask her out on a date once I realized she had ended things with her toxic boyfriend. During our conversations, Mary expressed appreciation for my empathetic nature or something to that effect. While we remain close friends to this day, I must admit that I've made quite an impression on her. Well, you know. Is a coochie an odd word to use? Is it too informal? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Nevertheless, the point I'm making, buddy, is that regardless of how remarkable you may be, lacking empathy will repel women. Therefore, always strive to be empathetic and avoid being judgmental. Generosity is another crucial aspect to consider. Let's discuss generosity, buddy. One quality that women find irresistible is generosity. Women have a difficult time resisting a man who is not only generous to his friends but also to strangers. Being generous is a powerful way to demonstrate that you care not only about your own needs but also about the needs of others. When a woman evaluates a man, she tends to ask herself certain questions such as, is he generous? Can I rely on him when I'm facing financial difficulties? Are his friends and family able to depend on him? If our relationship progresses to marriage, will he be a good father to our children? Her responses to these inquiries will influence her decision whether to pursue a relationship with you. So, buddy, if you find it challenging to assist friends in need, perhaps it's time for some personal growth. The essence of generosity lies in its reciprocity. You may find yourself in need someday, and without generosity, you'll have nobody to turn to. Therefore, give freely, my friends. However, I must emphasize that there's a significant distinction between being generous and being taken advantage of by gold diggers. Genuine women appreciate a man who is generous, but gold diggers are attracted to men solely for their money, expecting constant financial support. Your generosity should not be misconstrued as an invitation for financial exploitation. You shouldn't feel obligated to provide for every financial request that arises. Your generosity should be genuine and not motivated by ulterior motives or deception. When women recognize your true generosity, they'll naturally gravitate towards you. Think of Keanu Reeves. He exemplifies generosity and trustworthiness. How trustworthy are you? If your trustworthiness level barely reaches a 3 on a scale of 1 to 10, you have some work to do. It's essential to note that women despise deceptive individuals. They detest the idea of men faking aspects of themselves just to win their favor. In fact, people in general abhor liars and those who lack trustworthiness. Many men are willing to resort to any means to win over a woman, whether it's betraying friends, fabricating stories, or presenting a false persona. If you find yourself in that category, it's time for a change, as your lack of authenticity could be the reason why women don't find you irresistible. To illustrate how trustworthiness impacts relationships, consider this scenario. You meet a girl at the mall and initially, there's mutual trust between you. However, as you interact further, you begin fabricating details about yourself to fit her perception of an ideal partner. You lie about your job, your family background, and your intentions for her. Eventually, she perceives you as someone you're not. What do you think will happen when she discovers the deception? The relationship will undoubtedly suffer, as trust will be shattered. Once trust is lost, it's challenging to rebuild, and the woman will likely distance herself from you. Remember, women possess a keen intuition and can detect falsehoods easily. Now, let's talk about courage, a trait that women find irresistible. Courageous men who stand up for what's right, even in the face of adversity, hold a special allure for women. Conversely, individuals who shy away from challenges lack a backbone and consequently fail to captivate women's interest. To emphasize this point, let me share an example. I went to the movies recently and caught a fantastic film. It centered around a doctor who conducted various medical investigations and uncovered the harmful effects of rugby on players. As we're aware, rugby games are physically demanding, from the intense collisions to the pressure of advancing the ball to the finish line. Dr. Johnson discovered that these challenges resulted in brain issues for older players even after retiring. Despite facing resistance, he persisted in bringing attention to his findings, even taking the risk of jeopardizing his job. Eventually, his efforts paid off when the risks associated with rugby were acknowledged, and his work received the recognition it deserved. Following this ordeal, Dr. Johnson emerged as a standout figure in the hospital where he worked. The female staff, from doctors to nurses, went out of their way to be associated with him. If you want to capture the attention of women, demonstrating courage when it matters is a significant step forward. It's worth noting that courage doesn't always involve physical risks. Instead, it encompasses standing up for what you believe in, even in the face of opposition. Have you ever received a compliment from a lady about how delightful you smell? If not, then it's time to acknowledge that you need to elevate your cologne game. Women adore a man who smells pleasant. It drives them wild when a guy enters a room and fills it with an enticing scent. Seasoned daters understand this and make use of it to their advantage, knowing it adds to their irresistible charm. Some men overlook the importance of wearing cologne, attending dates and gatherings without applying any. Some even carry the lingering odor of onions and garlic from the night before, yet they wonder why women don't find them appealing. If you find yourself in this category, trust me when I say that investing in good cologne is essential, buddy. Explore renowned cologne brands like Giorgio Armani or Dior to find one that suits you perfectly. I'm not bragging, but whenever I step out, I often receive inquiries about where I shop for my cologne. I've lost count of the number of ladies I've attracted simply by smelling nice. If you want her to be drawn to you, then you know what to do: use good cologne. Now, let's talk about confidence. It's a timeless trait that women admire in a man, and without it, they'll never find you irresistible, dude. Work on boosting your confidence level, starting from the way you approach and converse with women. I understand it can be challenging. Perhaps you feel nervous or tongue-tied around them. Stepping out of your comfort zone is key here. Try approaching a lady whenever you feel the urge to. Consistently pushing yourself to do so will gradually build your confidence, turning you into a ladies' man in no time. Well, winners, what you've just heard is simply the weakness of every woman. Practice it with patience and tranquility, and you'll see how the results speak for themselves. Also, remember to subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any details of these videos that can completely change your life. See you next time.